No, okay, no violation of the law, of course, yes. Sir, चार में से कौन सा प्रिंसिपल है? मैं okay, making the cash flow payment at right time. Very good. So please join your hands and give them a big round of applause to everyone. Very good. Now let me share with you what these four principles are. And I can tell you friends, all over the globe, whether it is a profit organization or it is not for profit organization, ultimately these are the four principles that drive the organizations as far as their finance management is concerned, as far as their accounts management is concerned, as far as their risk management is concerned, and as far as their compliance management is concerned. So what the first is to be aware of what is the purpose of the enterprise. तो सबसे पहली चीज है कि हमको ये मालूम हो कि एंटरप्राइज का पर्पस क्या है. So this is the first thing. This is the starting point. And this is what we want to know as to what is the purpose of the enterprise. So let me ask all of you. क्या लगता है आपको? What must be the purpose of an enterprise? What must be a purpose of an enterprise? Profit, of course, profit. What should be? Yeah. To impart education. Yes, of course, to impart education. What else? Yes, ma'am. Giving good service. Yes, of course, giving good service. Optimum use of funds, yes, of course, optimum. So I am asking, what is the purpose of an enterprise? यानी कि एक एंटरप्राइज की के एग्जिस्टिंग का क्या पर्पस है? Yes, ma'am, you were saying something. Giving customer satisfaction. Now, let me tell you, बहुत सारे लोगों को लगता है कि purpose of an enterprise is to make profit. And let me tell you, friends, if you think that the purpose of an enterprise is to make profit, you are completely wrong. You are completely wrong. And why do I say this? I say this because if purpose of an enterprise was to make profit, you would not hear of a company called Google. Why? The founders of Google, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, both of them started making profit within first 2-3 years of their operations, and they would have said, purpose of our enterprise is to make profit. We have made profit. Purpose is achieved. Let us close the business. If the purpose of a business was to make profit, purpose of an enterprise was to make profit, remember, you would not hear of a company called Apple. Why? The founders of Apple, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, started making profits within first few years of their operations. And they would have said the same thing, that the purpose of a business, purpose of an enterprise is to make profit, and the purpose, we have made the profit, purpose is achieved, let us close the business. And why go very far? If the purpose of a business was to make profit, then you will not hear of a group called Tatas. And why do I say this? And I say this because the founder of Tata Group, Jamsetji Tata, had earned enough profit from his textile business and from his exports business for all his generations to come. And he would have said that the purpose of the business is to make profit. I have made enough profit, purpose is achieved, let us close the business. So please remember, why do I say that the purpose of a business is not to make profit? Because if the purpose of a business was to make a profit, if the purpose of an enterprise was to make a profit, you will not hear of all these groups because they all have made profit. And why do I say this again? And I say this because making profit in an enterprise is mandatory. Making profit in an enterprise is compulsory. Making profit in an enterprise is non-negotiable. Making profit in an enterprise is not a matter of choice, is not a matter of an option. So if you are an enterprise, you better make profit. You better make profit. And remember, if you are an enterprise and you are not making profit, the least that you can do is to hand that business, that enterprise, someone so that he can make profit out of it. Are you with me, everybody?
Yes.
So please remember, When I say that purpose of a business is not to make profit, purpose of a business is not to, purpose of an enterprise is not to make profit, that is not because of anything else. And I say this because it is mandatory. अगर आप बिजनेस में तो आपको प्रॉफिट बनाना ही बनाना है. आप अगर एक एंटरप्राइज चलाते हैं तो आपको कैश फ्लो आपका पॉजिटिव होना ही होना चाहिए. और जब मैं बोलता हूँ कि कैश फ्लो आपका पॉजिटिव होना चाहिए, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि टोटल कैश प्रॉफिट. आई एम सेइंग योर ऑपरेटिंग कैश प्रॉफिट. Your profit can be tight. And why it can be tight? Because you are generating operating cash flow. So your operating cash flow is positive. But what you are doing, you are deploying that positive cash flow for creating more assets. And that is why you have a crunch, which is perfectly fine. But as far as your operations are concerned, you have to generate profit, right? You have to generate profit. So now the question is, if purpose of a business, if a purpose of an enterprise is not to make profit, then the question is, what is the purpose of an enterprise? And the purpose of an enterprise is to create value. Are you with me, everybody? Create value. We are, all of you, belong to different universities. What your universities are doing, remember, your universities are creating value, yes or no? And the kind of value that your universities are creating is humongous. Is absolutely humongous. So the purpose of a business is not to make profit, because profit तो बनाना ही बनाना है. तो पर्पस क्या है बिजनेस का? बिजनेस का पर्पस है टू क्रिएट. तो अब सवाल ये है, हाथ फ्री रहे तो अच्छा रहता है. Right, so to create value. So the purpose of, are you all with me, everybody? So what is the purpose of a business? Purpose of a business is to create value. And I'm sure a question must be coming in the minds of every one of you. What is the meaning of to create value? What is the meaning of to create value? And the simplest definition that I can tell you of the meaning of the word create, the phrase create value, is to make this world a better place to live today than what it was yesterday. And that is what is create value. Remember, today the whole world is talking about a what? The whole world today is talking about the global warming. The whole world is talking about the planet. The whole world is talking about the 17th Sustainable Development Goal. The whole world is talking about a circular economy. The whole world is talking about of taking care of the climate. And why is that so? And that is because if, बहुत सिंपल है, जीवन में आपके पास में प्लान ए हो सकता है, और अगर आपका प्लान ए फेल हो जाए तो प्लान बी होगा, और प्लान बी फेल हो जाए तो प्लान सी होगा, और प्लान सी फेल हो गया तो प्लान डी होगा. But remember, you can have a plan A, plan B, plan C, but we all have only one planet A, yes or no? And that means what? That means if that planet is not there, that means we all are not there. We all are not there. That means not only we are ruining our own generation, but also we are causing damage for the coming generation. And that is what is creating value. And I am sure all of you will be hearing that everybody is talking in terms of creating value. The question is, how do you create value? You create value by converting resources into result, and then result into resources. We all know this gentleman, right? Everybody? Who is he? Jamsetji Tata. We are talking about efficiency, impact. आपको मालूम है, जमशेदजी टाटा, the founder of Tata Group, he thought of 3 projects in the year 1902. And what those 3 projects were? Those 3 projects were steel plant, number 1. Number 2, the power plant that we today known as Tata Power. And number 3 is the Institute of Sciences that we see today in Bangalore. Okay. और आपको मालूम है कि जमशेदजी टाटा ने ये 3 प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में क्यों सोचा? जमशेदजी टाटा ने ये 3 प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में इसलिए नहीं सोचा क्योंकि जमशेदजी टाटा को और ज्यादा पैसा कमाना था. जमशेदजी टाटा thought of these 3 projects because he realized with the advent of power, with the advent of steel, with the advent of steam, the way American and European economies were growing, he realized that if something was not done in India, then India's economy will remain so behind that it would take us 500 years to catch up. और आपको मालूम है 1902 में जमशेदजी टाटा ने ये 3 प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में सोचा. 1904 में जमशेदजी टाटा की मृत्यु हो गई. 1906 में जमशेदजी टाटा के ग्रुप को बिहार में जमीन मिली स्टील प्लांट बनाने के लिए और जुलाई 2 1912 में टाटा स्टील ने पहली बार हिंदुस्तान में स्टील बनाया. So why did he thought of all this? Not because he wanted to increase his personal riches. He wanted because he wanted to have a positive impact on the economy of this country. So why do you create value? You create value by doing this, converting resources into result and result into resources. क्या मतलब है इसका? ये इसका मतलब बहुत सिंपल है. अब ये मंत्र है. क्या मंत्र है ये? जमशेदजी टाटा ने क्या किया? जमशेदजी टाटा had lot of wealth. उन्होंने वो वेल्थ को यूज करके इंडस्ट्री डाली. उस इंडस्ट्री से उन्होंने क्या किया? और पैसा कमाया. और पैसा कमा के उन्होंने क्या किया? और इंडस्ट्री डाली. सो हाउ डू यू क्रिएट वैल्यू? वी क्रिएट वैल्यू बाय कन्वर्टिंग रिसोर्सेज इनटू रिजल्ट एंड द रिजल्ट इनटू रिसोर्सेज. रिसोर्स क्या है? आपका पैसा. रिजल्ट क्या है? वर्ल्ड क्लास स्टील प्लांट. अब आप स्टील प्लांट बना दिए. अब आप क्या करोगे? उसको बनाओ, चलाओ, स्टील प्रोड्यूस करो, सेल करो, और पैसा आएगा ना. और पैसा यानी कि रिसोर्स आया. उस रिसोर्स को वापस डिप्लॉय करो एंड देन अगेन यू क्रिएट मोर रिजल्ट. आई एम श्योर ऑल ऑफ यू इफ यू विल थिंक अबाउट इट यू विल रियलाइज कि दिस इज द मंत्र ऑफ क्रिएशन ऑफ वर्ल्ड एम्पायर्स. पूरी दुनिया में जो बिजनेस एम्पायर्स हैं, दैट इज द मंत्र. एंड व्हाट इट इज? कन्वर्टिंग रिसोर्सेज इनटू रिजल्ट एंड रिजल्ट इनटू रिसोर्सेज. Create value for what? Create value for strengthening the economy of the nation so as to make a positive difference in everyone's life. So create value for what? Creating value for making positive difference in the life of everyone. Okay, am I audible? Okay, very good. Thank you. So, why create value? Create value because you want to strengthen the economy of the nation and you want to make a positive difference in the life of others without causing irreparable damage to the planet. And I'm sure you can understand this is what is growth. Are you there everybody? So what is growth? Growth is converting resources into result. What is profit? Converting result into resources is profit. And this is what is good corporate governance, to strengthen economy of the nation, and that is what is good corporate governance. Without causing irreparable damage to the planet, this is what is sustainability. Isn't it right with me, everybody? So this is what is sustainability, taking care of the planet. And this is what is leadership. So anyone who does all this, he is a leader. And this all also takes care of your risk management. This also takes care of your compliance. So please remember, first principle behind growth of any organization. Ultimately remember, as the accounts and the finance function, what is our role? What is our responsibility? As the accounts and finance function of the university or of the trust or any other organization, what is our prime responsibility? Our prime responsibility is not to maintain the bank account, is not to keep the books of accounts. Our prime responsibility is to help the organization in creating more value, yes or no? Right. So what we need to have this broad understanding, and that what that broad understanding is, that as the accounts person, as the accounts executive, or the accounts manager, or the finance manager, or the CFO, or CAFO, my responsibility is not prepare the accounts. Preparation of the account is a process that will happen in any case. What is my responsibility? My responsibility is to ensure that my management gets the information in time, so that my management is able to take decisions take decisions that would help my organization in creating more value. The second principle that all of us need to be aware of, and that is what is lifeline of any organization, what is lifeline of any enterprise. Because ultimately, remember, whatever actions do we take in life, all those actions ultimately are driven by what? Everyone. हम जीवन में जो भी steps लेते हैं, जो भी action लेते हैं, those steps and those actions are driven by what? They are driven by vitamin. Okay, vitamin M. Yes, okay. What else? What else? So remember, all the actions and steps that we take in life at any time, they are all driven by our thoughts. Are you with me? तो हम जो भी करते हैं लाइफ में, गलत या सही, उसके पीछे ड्राइवर क्या है? उसके पीछे ड्राइवर थॉट है. अगर वो थॉट पॉजिटिव है तो एक्शन पॉजिटिव है, वो थॉट नेगेटिव है तो एक्शन नेगेटिव है. If I am aware as to what is the purpose of my organization, that is to create value, then what I am going to do, I am going to do everything which is going to help my organization create more value. अब second question का, second principle का, what do you think is lifeline of a business? What do you think is, when I say lifeline, that means what is the oxygen of a business? Every one of you. And I want all of you to answer. किसी भी एंटरप्राइज की लाइफलाइन क्या है? किसी भी एंटरप्राइज, जब मैं बोलता हूँ लाइफलाइन, इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब ये है कि किसी भी एंटरप्राइज की ऑक्सीजन क्या है. और जब मैं बोलता हूँ ऑक्सीजन क्या है, इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब ये है कि किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की वो कौन सी चीज है जो अगर नहीं है तो बिजनेस विल कम टू अ ग्राइंडिंग हॉल्ट. कस्टमर, ओके, वेरी गुड. फाइनेंस, वेरी गुड. अब देखिए, पहले इससे पहले कि मैं दूसरे प्रिंसिपल पे आऊँ, एक बात को जरा कंक्लूड कर लेते हैं. तो फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ द अकाउंट्स एंड द फाइनेंस फंक्शन, हाउ डू वी अप्लाई द फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल, एंड दैट इज टू create value. The purpose of an enterprise is to create value. That means what? That means I think all of us should write down. I am going to driven in my department handling the accounts and finance by this driver, that is create value. That means what? That means whatever I will do in my function every day, I will check कि whatever I am doing, is it helping my organization in creating more value or not? So please write down quickly in 30 seconds. Okay, so let's come to the second one, and I'm going to ask all of you, क्या है? What is the oxygen of a business or an enterprise? आप जिस यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए, जिस ट्रस्ट के लिए, जिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए काम करते हैं, क्या लगता है कि उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का, उस एंटरप्राइज की लाइफलाइन क्या है? मीनिंग व्हाट, यानी कि वो चीज़ नहीं है तो वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, स्टूडेंट ओके, कस्टमर, स्टूडेंट, वेरी गुड, व्हाट एल्स? विजन, ओके, व्हाट एल्स? व्हाट एल्स? What else? Objective of the organization, of course, but objective of the organization we have covered already. So the first thing that we have discussed, so that is already covered. What else? Human resources, okay, what else? Yeah? Motive, yeah. Motive is purpose, same, okay, very good. What else? Okay, so again let me give a chance to all of you to discuss with your neighbor and find out the answer. So discuss with your neighbor this question कि किसी भी organization की lifeline क्या है? किसी भी, अब मैं आपको बताता हूँ, you know why I'm discussing all these questions with you. I had an opportunity of working with a company called ArcelorMittal. I'm sure all of you must have heard of this company, right? Have you? ArcelorMittal is world's largest steel and mining company. ArcelorMittal produces 10% steel of the entire world. I worked with this company. and had an opportunity of interacting with the chairman of this company, that is Mr. Lachimullah today. ArcelorMittal as an organization today is more than $100 billion company. And remember, this became $100 billion organization just in about 20-25 years. And what do? They make steel, and they make steel of all kinds, They are mining, they make steel. So one day a thought crossed my mind. How Mr. Mittal must be controlling the operations? Because ArcelorMittal has operations all over the world. 60 से ज़्यादा countries में उनके operations हैं, mining है. And when I was trying to understand it, and that is where I realized as to how Mr. Mittal, sitting in London, will control all the operations all over the globe. So what is that one thing which will help Mr. Mittal to control it? And let me tell you, I'm quoting Mr. Mittal or I'm quoting ArcelorMittal because I have worked with them and I have seen it. But all the organizations of the world, छोटे हो, बड़े हो, profit making or non-profit making or, doesn't make any difference. All the organizations use this one thing to control their operations. Trust, okay, very good, trust. Okay, so अब मैं क्या करूँगा, आपको थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा टाइम देता हूँ, 1 मिनट और